Welcome back to Good Morning PD Live 95 on a Thursday morning, not doing our normal back and forth, our political roundtable, political talk, political conversations, the back and forth. We're doing something very unique and different today. The same thing we did yesterday, the same thing we did tomorrow. We are a part of the Children's Miracle Network Radiothon on the campus of McLeod Health, 843-777-GIVE, 843-777-4483, 1-866-668-4862. Those are the two numbers that you can give your hard-earned money. And we know people work hard for their money. I'd go back to the last segment. There's an innate goodness in the majority of us. If there weren't good people, there wouldn't be radiothons. If there weren't good people, there wouldn't be not-for-profits. If there weren't good people, the world would look a whole lot different. I know the media talks a lot about the negatives of society, and we're part of that to some degree, Rev. But, today is a demonstration. Yesterday was a demonstration, and I hope tomorrow is a demonstration of the goodness in many, many people. We're asking you to give your money to improve the potential outcomes of kids who would much rather be somewhere else, families who would much rather be somewhere else. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I wish we didn't need NICU units. I wish we didn't need these stories that we're telling throughout the day. But for whatever reason, we live in an imperfect world, and these sorts of things are things we have to deal with. We're trying to make it easier for the families and the kids to deal with those particular issues.
Your money goes further for the next 7 minutes because we are in a matching hour. McLeod Volunteer Services are matching your donations. So if you make a one-time donation, 777-GIVE, that is certainly welcome and appreciated. If you become a miracle maker and commit to that $15 a month, the monthly giving, again, your donation goes further during this matching hour, double the care, double the equipment, and you have about 7 minutes to get your donation in to be matched courtesy of McLeod Volunteer Services.
We have a couple of healthcare professionals here. Julie Coker and Chu Stalheim are with us. One is a NICU nurse. The other is a NICU occupational therapist. Good morning. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning.
Julie, I'll let you go first. You've got a story that kind of motivated you to be involved in the treating of children in healthcare.
Yes, I do. 22 years ago last month, I gave birth to premature triplet boys. They were 7 weeks premature, and they were in a NICU. And I was not a nurse back then. I was a very scared mother of 3 new babies. And the care that they got and the outcomes have been phenomenal. And today they are thriving 22-year-olds. When they were in about 5K, I decided I wanted to go back to school and become a nurse and work in a NICU, and that's where I've been for the last 13 years.
That's a good question. It's interesting to me. We all want fulfillment in our lives. This isn't about you. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about Dave. But there is some gratification in knowing you're helping people who would probably rather be a million other places than where they are.
You're right. It's not about gratification. It's about giving. It's about investing in these babies' lives. It's about investing in our parents who are scared when they walk through those doors and they see all this equipment hooked up to their baby. And it's about comforting them and educating them about what's going on with their baby and how can they be a part of the healing process with their baby. And that's what I want to do every day when I come to work, is encourage, build, and improve lives.
True, and you're a NICU occupational therapist. Everybody's got a subspecialty in healthcare today. And some of these words, half these words, I can't even pronounce. I just mumble them so nobody hears me mispronounce. But exactly what is a NICU occupational therapist?
So we hear about, PTs and speech pathologists, and we all know what they do. But as an occupational therapist, we're really unique as far as we look at the overall development of the baby, especially looking at their brain development, looking at their gross motor skills. So, for example, their arms and legs, looking at their fine motor skills, how they're assessing their environment. And then the big thing is we also work on teaching these babies how to feed effectively and efficiently, whether it's by breast or by bottle. So really helping these moms and babies get to know one another.
And all this is part of the Children's Hospital. I want you to tell me, as somebody who's affiliated, who works there every day, why is this hospital so important to advancing better treatment for these children?
Well, I think that's OT in the NICU is a very specialized entity. You have some units that don't use therapists in their NICU. And so as far as McLeod, we have a very special skill set in the NICU that some other hospitals may not have.
I'm going to ask both of you. I'm going to start with you because the microphone's in front of you. How do you not let it get to you? I mean, how do you come to work every day? I mean, I wish I gave away lottery tickets every day. I wish that was something I did, was make people happy every day. But does it ever get to you, and how do you kind of compartmentalize?
It does, but you have to think about how unique and how special these babies are, and the privilege and honor to be able to be a part of these lives. And, just helping a mom smile or a dad smile, or, being able to see those parents change the diaper for the first time. I mean, that makes it so much easier, and it makes it fun to come to work. And then you think about all the good stuff,
Julie, I'll go to you and ask you this last question. You talked about having 22-year-old children. Do you ever cross paths with the kids that you saw come through? I mean, we hear success stories, and there's some, regretfully, that don't go so well. But when you're out and about living your life outside of being a healthcare provider, do you ever see some of these kids? And obviously, that's got to be a cool interaction.
It actually is. We could be in Walmart, and somebody will come up to us, and they'll say, "Hey, you were our NICU nurse. This is our little boy, or this is our little girl." I mean, we've been in there 13 years. That's a very short time compared to some of our nurses who've been there 35 years. We admit between 500 and 600 babies a year.
Wow.
So sometimes it's really hard to remember every single baby, but when they start telling the story, you can remember exactly which bed they were in. And there's like 40 beds in there. And I can say, "Oh, you were in bed number 2, and I can tell you, and that's how we relate to them. And because, when they leave the hospital, they're babies, and now they're kids. They don't recognize them. I recognize the parents.
So these things I've got in front, either one of you ladies, these things I've got here, the stethoscope, the diapers, the pacifiers, what do you call these things?
These are blood pressure cuffs.
Yeah,
they look like little
cuffs.
Band-Aids to you.
It's like a ring. I mean, it's so tiny.
Wow.
I mean, these are things you deal with every day.
Every day. They are precious, and they are specialized in their development, and they are costly, believe it or not, because they are very specialized.
And that's why we need support from our public.
And Julie, I can attest her passion. She's the nurse that gave us the tour of the NICU last week, and we really appreciate that. And she is just so passionate for the babies and the families, and it's very obvious.
And we're fortunate that we have two ladies who are that passionate to their craft and profession. And once again, we use the word labor of love a lot in society. We probably overuse it, but you can hear in their voices that's exactly what this is. There's a commitment they made to making sure these children are taken care of. The way you can help is dial 843-777-4483. 843-777-GIVE. We'll be back in just a minute. Good morning, PD, Live 95.